Well, Ian, it's nice to see you looking very smart after some comments that were made about your sartorial elegance at Altrincham. So nice to see you made an effort today.
Yes, thanks, Rob. I understand there was one or two people questioning the fact that I was firstly in the away end at Altrincham and secondly not suited and booted. As regards being in the away end, I don't think it's the first time that's occurred. Off the top of my head, I think I was in the away end at Farsley, South Shields, Colne, to name a few. It's something that we positively try to do because it gives people the chance to just have a chat. You know, someone who might not contact the club or might not like to do it on a match day, might feel more comfortable if we're kind of in the away end with them. And it's something that we do on a regular basis. And you know, I've never had negative feedback before, so it's something that we will continue to do.
I know you said to me in the summer that you wanted to see people see us being approachable, and surely that does it, doesn't it? If you stood there and people can come and talk to you.
Yeah, and often it's difficult. It's difficult for a home game because there's so much going on. There's so much that we do. But as I say, James and I regularly will have a walk around at an away game. We'll regularly stand at the away end. And as regards not being suited and booted, it's not a major issue. Altrincham are not particularly welcoming to children in the boardroom, as they notified us last season. The two girls come with me to all home games, a lot of away games. So we took the conscious decision not to go in the boardroom on that basis. Yeah. It makes it easier to choose Altrincham as one of the games that I'll kind of mingle and go and stand in the away end.
Good, excellent. Okay, well, we go into the new year pretty handily placed. So we've had a disappointing end to 2019 and a disappointing start to 2020, but we're not that badly placed, are we? You know, you think the world was coming to an end the way people are talking, but
I mean, 3 weeks ago we were third in the league.
Yeah.
You know, not much has changed squad-wise. There's always a drop in form through the course of the season. We've clearly had ours over Christmas, and it's now very much what we do to put an end to that performance and those performances, and how we turn that around. As I say, we don't become a bad side overnight. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's overnight or in the course of 3 weeks, we don't become a bad side. We were difficult to beat, and I've said in the programme notes a few times we've been difficult to beat this season. We need to get back to that mentality. You know, when we do, then yes, we are handily placed. You know, we've got a decent run in now till the end of the season, and you know, if you'd have offered us 8th in the league in January at the beginning of the season, we'd have probably took it, because it leaves us sitting quite nice. And as I say, it's as with anything else, once you hit a blip like this, it's very much about confidence. It's about confidence, and it's about the lads being able to go away, kind of get back to the mentality they had before, and regroup and start again. And if anyone can do that, to Liam.
Yeah.
You know, so we've got a good close-knit group of players. You know, they are very close. You know, they get on well. It's a good group of lads in that respect. I've got full confidence that they'll be able to pull it round and we start again.
Good. Okay, well, off the field, as we know, Phil left us in the summer, and when we spoke in the summer you said it was very important that we got the club on an even keel and we're living in our means. Do you think we're getting somewhere near to that goal?
Yeah, in the summer I spoke a couple of times about kind of a three-pronged attack, as it were, in the sense of, you know, what we do on the pitch, what we do as a community club and getting more involved in the community, and getting back to living within our means. You know, everyone has heard rumours of late, and I've seen a couple of rumours on Port Chat and other social media about financial problems, and I've got absolutely no idea where that's come from. This time last year, obviously Phil was here, and Phil was supplementing hugely the monthly income just to tide us by. We then finished the season you know, over £200,000 at a loss, and we had to turn that round. Our two big jobs through the summer were obviously the pitch, and getting a grip of the finances to make sure that we achieve that goal of living within our means. We're now in a position where, in respect of operational day-to-day costs, we are completely debt-free. There's no issue as regards paying any creditors on a month-to-month basis. There's no problem in relation to wages. There's absolutely none of the ongoing problems that we had last season, because finances are completely balanced at the moment. There's no concerns from anyone within the club. As I say, we've built up really good relationships now with people who are working with the club on a day-to-day basis. In respect of the expenses from last season, a lot of that was as a result of kind of roles within the club that were just not necessary. We were paying out large wages on jobs that could and should be done by volunteers, and in fact the salaries as a whole have reduced by close on 40%. You've got to take that obviously in hand with the increased income now coming into the club. We've got a really busy hospitality and event side now, which we haven't had in the past. We can do up to 3 or 4 events a week. That's bringing in a fantastic second source of income to the club, and it's becoming a busy club during the week. Claire and the event side are doing really well in promoting the events and running the events, and we're getting nothing but positive comments coming back to us, and people who are returning, people who are recommending it, and that's a really invaluable source of income. The income into the club has gone up by 53-54% compared to last season. So we've got the drop in expenses, we've got the increase in income. As I say, operationally we are completely debt free. So it's a healthy situation. I've said to James, and I've said to Liam and Stephen that if I walk out tomorrow and get hit by a bus, we need to know that the club is under no threat and continue to operate. So in respect of living within our means, I think we're more than achieving that at the moment. We wanted to tie that in with still enabling Liam to have the squad that he wants. He's got, regardless of when they do or don't train, he's got a squad of players who are on full-time wages. He's not had to cut that squad because of financial constraints. So as far as that side of the club is concerned, again, A, we're living within our means, and B, we're giving Liam what he needs in relation to trying to improve matters on the pitch.
Excellent. The commercial activity certainly seems to have been excellent. We can see just looking around the ground, can't you, the number of boards that are up now and everything. So that seems to be an area we really have improved on. Yeah,
and again, a lot of it comes back to kind of, again, looking back at what we did in the summer. We got rid of a lot of the posts and a lot of the roles that were needed to replace them with staff who we trust and we know who can do their jobs, and really become a part of what we're trying to create. Obviously by reducing the staff down to essentially James, Steve and Darren. We know with Steve, you've only got to look around the pitch and see all the boards that have been taken. And the good thing from that perspective is that, again, you look at percentage figures, income from that respect has increased by 100%. And what is pleasing is that the boards are a mix of old sponsors who we rely on year in, year out, but also a lot of new sponsors. And that gives us the ability to know, again, moving forward, there's lots of conversations to be had moving into next season. Because, again, it's another indication as to how the community is now getting back involved in the club. A lot of these are local businesses.
Yeah. Excellent, okay. The pitch seems to have taken quite a battering over the last few weeks with so many games on and one thing, and unfortunately the weather in December was pretty horrific and we're playing a lot of games. Do you think there is need for some remedial work to be done on the pitch, Ian?
It's a common problem, I think, with most new pitches. The first 12 months are always difficult with any new pitch, and no more so than here. Obviously we have been battling the elements. but we are involved with Abbots on a weekly basis. You know, we have we report back to them on a weekly basis. They came out recently to have a look. They did some remedial work to the far side of the pitch, the far corner, and we will continue to assess how the pitch settles and what we need as we go through the season. Abbott's are working with us at the moment. They've provided the rain sheets that everyone can see on the far side. So in all likelihood there will be remedial work needed in the summer. Mm-hmm. That won't come as a surprise to us or to Abbott. No. We're kind of already on top of that now. And hopefully it means that as soon as the season ends they can be in straight away doing whatever is necessary to bring the pitch up to the standard that we want, and do that quickly, because obviously we're already focusing now on what friendlies we want throughout the course of the summer, and we don't want there to be any issue over those friendlies.
No. Good. Okay. I know you said in your programme notes on several occasions, and thank you very much for the thank you to the volunteers and how important the volunteers are at Southport Football Club. And you mentioned before about you've been able to replace some of the roles with volunteers. Is there scope for more volunteers to come on board, or do you want to see more from volunteers? Anything else that we can do to help?
Again, it's a mix of kind of two of those elements we're looking for in the sense of living with our means and the community element of the club. We asked for more volunteers because without the volunteers we wouldn't have been able to reduce those paid roles down, and we wouldn't have been able to kind of do that without people coming forward. Even look at your position now. If you look at the media last season where we had people in paid roles, that's now purely done by volunteers. The community aspect is as well. It helps rebuild any bridges that needed rebuilding, as regards kind of the right spirit in which the volunteers are coming back to the club and prepared to help out and muck in. And that's not just the official volunteers either. We put a message out for the Chester home game, obviously to see if we could get any help getting those rain sheets off and getting all the rain off the pitch so that we could actually go ahead with the game. I got here for 9:30, 10 o'clock-ish, and I was amazed how many people had turned up on a Boxing Day morning to give us a hand and enable us to do that. It was great. But for myself, that's how the season has progressed anyway. I think I'm probably the wrong person to judge it, but I think there's been a much better bond generally between the board, the club and the volunteers anyway. We had a great night at Christmas when the volunteers turned up to the players' evening. There was a lunch put on for the volunteers as well, which is well attended, and all the feedback I get is positive. As regards new volunteers, we're always looking. I'm not going to say kind of we need this or we need that or we need the other. It's more a case of if you want to come down and help, do so, and we will find something.
Good. Okay. Just finally, then moving into 2020, what would be your one message for the fans? What would you like to see happening here at Southport Football Club?
Keep getting behind us. It's a work in progress. As I say, it's easy to compare it to this time next season, but that's what you have to do. And this time next season, obviously, we were at the wrong end of the table. We were aspiring to get to mid-table, and as I say, the club itself was not in the best position, either financially or community, volunteers, any of that. We look at this season, and we've not had the best of Christmases by any means, but we're still within touch and distance. We're still up in the playoff positions, or thereabouts. There's a much better, I think, spirit around the club generally, and again, you see that when we go away as well. There's fans travelling away to every game in numbers, and there's fans getting behind us home and away. It's always disappointing, obviously, when you look at, if you make the mistake of looking at social media, you will always find the same one or two who kind of almost with glee are posting at 10 to 5 because we've lost. you know, we all know who they are. Everyone knows who they are, and you can guarantee, as I say, 10 to 5 they'll be on post. And the great thing is that they are a minority. The majority of people are behind the club all the time. They can see what we're doing, they can see what we're trying to do, both on and off the pitch. You know, Liam and I are already planning for next season. You know, Liam being Liam already knows what players he wants, what players to look for, and how to build his squad. And you know, I know we talk on a daily basis, you know, as regards where we are here and now, who's out there, and what we're looking for to improve things now. I mean, again, you know, Liam knows that if he needs players at the moment, we can go out and get them. But again, it's finding the right players to come into this group of players that we've got at the moment. That's what Liam wants, that's what I want, and that's what the fans want.
Yep.
You know, I think I've said in previous interviews that when I joined 3 years ago now, we had 2 managers and as many players. There was a massive turnover of players for the first 12 months, probably 18 months. And over the last 12 months we've really stabilised that. We've got a good spine of players, we've got, you know, a good group of players who work well together, are growing together, and they're a young group of players, but they're also a group of players who the fans can relate to, and we don't want to spoil that by, you know, panicking and bringing in faces for the sake of bringing in faces. But if there are players out there that Liam wants, he knows that we can build in that respect.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay.